Hi, good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Keep government open. We have to do those imminently, more imminently even, to address the full Obama agenda of building back better and I love to say building back better.
She's a piece of work. All right, so I heard that. But now I can't hear you.
Keep government open. We have to do those imminently, more imminently even, to address the full Obama agenda of building back better and I love to say building back better.
He wrote back, can't spend much time on social media during the day when he's at work. I'm not asking you to be on social media. I'm asking you to be on a live radio program. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing, testing, testing. Yes, you guys get to be the guinea pigs as you've been for everything. And we love you for that. Huh. So what do you think? I can hear it on my phone because I didn't turn that down. It must be this. Can hear you, however, can't hear Brock. So what do you want to do? Okay, let's go. Listen to me. I'm like, let's go. Let's go. Oh, wait, my board. Oh, and I have to take a picture. I'm all discombobulated today. My goodness gracious. Let's see. No glare. Hello, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much. Let's see. Gonna send the board to Jason. Get it up on the stream.
Why is that so loud?
I don't know.
Are you hearing it in your...
All right, so let's try this now. Brock's going to figure out why the audio is so loud in here. As much as I want to hear music. That's better. Was it just a button that was pushed?
What's that?
Was that just a button that was pushed that made it loud?
they turned it up in here for some reason.
Ah. Okay.
Now, can you guys hear me?
What do you think, everybody?
They can hear me now, so it's a matter of that. Thank you.
Do you want me then to plug in? Or do you think you're okay?
Yeah, you better plug in.
Yeah.
Other side.
Yeah.
I'll fix it.
No.
This is the magic.
Yes.
All right, and then you get in there and I will move make sure it's centered.
We should don't touch.
He likes to bark orders at me. Typical man.
Hold on. No, I think we're good. Don't you guys love being the guinea pig?
Oh my, oh my, oh my. I can legitimately tell you I have no idea what I'm going to talk about here. I've got a whole swirl of stuff I want to discuss with you guys, but nothing's really organized.
My volume is probably going to be a little lower today because it's lower in her headphones because she's controlling it.
Do you want me to turn it up? Wait, that's not it. It's over here. Testing, testing, testing.
You'll have to.
Got it.
You remember where you turned it up down there?
Well, we're not plugged in down there anymore. We're plugged in over here. Keep talking and just see if people hear you, because I just
isn't long enough. Can't hear you. Turn back up. It's not about me. So we'll work on that. But it's not. I'm not worried about you hearing me as much. Remember, it's all about Wendy Bell. And you didn't get biggest jag off.
They can't hear you, so it doesn't matter what you say. I'm trying to figure out. Well, why don't I just, since we're circumventing the iRig, why don't I just go back to what I was doing before, plug into this. I don't hear it now. Ah, fudgesicles. I can't hear you. Ah, that's really loud. Oh, God. He's really loud in my ears. Wow. Let's go. Hey, good morning, America, and welcome to the Wendy Bell radio program. So delighted you are along for the ride. My. It seems very overmodulated in my headsets. Can you hear that, or does it sound good to you, Brock? Yeah, I'm having some issues with that. Hello, everybody. We're so delighted that you're here with us today. Hello to our friends listening on WRTA in Altoona, Pennsylvania, and also in Winchester, Virginia on News Talk 1400. Hello to all of you. Hey, and we do have good news coming up, too. More radio stations are getting with the program. They like our common sense conservatism. And hopefully we're going to be signing more stations along to carry the program. It's exciting, super exciting. Let's start the way we always do. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. All right. Big day today. Did you guys catch any of the Pentagon folks, the top brass, testifying yesterday before the Senate Armed Services Committee? Interesting things coming out of that. We're going to be discussing that with you in just a moment. But as I was just looking, you guys, we're going to have a major crisis on our hands here. And it's all going to be because of your president, Joe Biden. Yay! Way to go, Joe. There's a reason why FJB is really taking over as a hashtag. People are saying it all over the place. Why? Dateline, New York State. Ladies and gentlemen, 70,000 healthcare workers are going to be out of a job ASAP, if it hasn't already happened, because they decide to subscribe to their own personal freedom and decision making, and they have contradicted the edict created by Joe Biden and his administration to get that jab. And so what's going to happen now? Well, according to the Washington Post, because they're so believable, tens of thousands of healthcare workers in New York are likely to have refused a coronavirus vaccine before a state requirement went into effect on Monday, serving as a preview of resistance that the Biden administration's vaccine requirements will face on a bigger scale in coming weeks. So let me get this straight. You have a virus, which people want to tell us is the biggest thing going on in America right now. It is job number one. Make sure this needle gets in more arms. We've got to protect people, even though, of course, we know that getting the vaccine doesn't keep you safe, doesn't keep you from getting sick, doesn't prevent you from transmitting this. Doesn't matter if you have natural immunity. Forget all of that. Do as we say. But when 70,000 healthcare workers, and having lived with one for more than 23 years, when 70,000 of them decide that it's better for them to walk off the job and lose their livelihoods, for which a great number of them went to an exorbitant amount of school, what does that tell you about what the heroes, the frontline heroes of yesterday, now the villains of the narrative today, what does that tell you about what they have seen because of this jab? In addition to those 70,000 healthcare workers, think about everything involved in a hospital. Is it important to have the doctors, the surgeons, the nurses? For sure. But how about the people who do all the little things that without those jobs, those other ones don't matter? The processing, the cleaning, the cooking, the managing, the intake, the insurance and bill. Ladies and gentlemen, when that goes away, you don't have health care in the midst of a pandemic. And according to your president, that's all that matters. Get the jab, lose your job. Okay? 70,000 healthcare workers. That's not all, though, going on in New York. This is like ground zero of Biden's plan blowing up in his face. How about 7,800 school teachers? 7,800 teachers who also will be walking off the job. The cataclysmic ripple effect of having no teachers, no health care, and now We have a sanctimonious and completely woke United Airlines. It gives us so much pain to report to you that this 593 people on our staff who won't get the vaccine are going to have to be laid off. But it's the only thing we can do. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just the beginning. As people stand up and say, no, I'm not down with it. It is by design. And I tell you, that pebble in the water and the effect of the ripple will be so wide reaching. This administration is on notice. You know, I was thinking this morning about this movie. Did you guys ever see the movie that Jim Carrey was in, Liar, Liar? I loved that movie because it strikes a nerve with, I think, any kind of personality. So I don't remember everything about the movie because it's been several years. But Jim Carrey is some kind of a slimy account executive, maybe a lawyer. I don't know what he is, a lawyer. And he and his wife are kind of on a rocky relationship, and they have this cute little boy who desperately wants his dad to spend time with him. And Jim Carrey finds all sorts of other things to, obviously he's busy, he lies to his son, he doesn't show up for pivotal things that he said he's going to show up for, he misses games, he misses birthdays, he misses a lot of stuff. And then at the end of it, when the son is so devastated because dad yet again has let him down, Jim Carrey's character then piles on another lie on top of it. And the scene that really starts the whole movie is the little boy going to bed at night crying, saying, I wish, looking out his window at the stars and the moon, if I could have one wish, I would wish that my dad would just tell the truth. And it was like, Shazam, all of a sudden. Jim Carrey wakes up the next morning and it's like physically impossible for him to be the smarmy liar that he has been for so long. And the story of how he then finally finds himself and realizes, oh my goodness, look at what I've been missing. Look at what I've been doing, as he has to morally struggle with his inability to be what he's always been, a liar. It's a funny tale because there's a scene in the movie in the elevator as he's arriving to work the first day after this spell has kind of taken over his mouth. And it's a woman in the elevator, and normally he would say some kind of a lie to this woman. Oh, you look beautiful, or, oh, looking nice today, Sandy, or whatever. And I think his response to her is something like, do you really think you should be wearing those jeans? Something of that nature. And it's so funny to watch it happen. But yet, ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you that there are studies that submit, we individually lie somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 times every day, 200 times. Little white lies, right? Bigger lies. We lie to our kids. We lie to our spouses. Here's the rub, though. When you are a liar, and I can think of so many people in our country right now who make a business off of purposely lying to and deceiving we, the American people, it's not even funny. When that is your job, when that is what you do, and you lose the trust of the people, you are in this quagmire where we are now, where 70,000 hospital workers in one of America's 50 states are walking out of the careers that they passionately believe in because they know something fundamentally wrong with not just this vaccine, but this ridiculous overreach to make everybody get it. I want to have a little interaction with you today, and I think it involves opening up the phones, which we will do at the bottom of this hour. Because just in about, I'd say 15 or 20 minutes, Brock and I brainstormed, spitballed, as I held my dry erase markers on the whiteboard, on the BS board behind me, to come up with some of the more relevant, recent lies that have been dropped on us. But when you're dealing with people's lives, their livelihoods, the safety of their children, the safety of their country, and all you can do is lie and double down on the lie and lie some more. And when it's the president of the United States who's the liar in chief, where do you have to go from there? I have some sound coming up that you need to hear about. U.S. military leaders testifying in front of the Senate Armed Services Committee yesterday and Monday, directly contradicting a lie by Joe Biden on ABC News with George Stephanopoulos. The more I watch Biden, the more I come to realize the only reason the left picked this guy was he was the biggest pushover who was so hungry for this title. This was all he ever wanted, ladies and gentlemen. And they could pull the strings. I'm going to play that sound for you. I'm going to play it a couple times. I want you to listen. I want you to decide who's telling the truth and who's lying. And then who's the biggest offender, as we all, unfortunately, are the biggest loser of all of this. Advanced Integrated Medical 360 is a wonderful place. It is a place that I talk about. It is Pittsburgh's #1 hormone weight loss center, but it's not just a Pittsburgh-based thing. Dr. Darren Dubiak and his medical staff work in 47 different states. And what they do is they help you get to the root of problems that your PCP isn't spending the time and certainly isn't ordering the blood tests to drill down on for you. This blood test involves 60 biomarkers and a dozen hormones. And when you get that blood drawn, you sit down with Dr. Dubiak for 45 minutes and you go through 15 pages of you, what all the results mean, and what you need to get on track to lose weight, to get feeling good again, to get your life back. 412-227-9255. IntegrativeMedical360.com. Make your no-cost appointment today. All right, so when we come back, let's break out the BS board. Let's go over some of the lies. This is also on our app, the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Download it. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about where you go as a people when you fundamentally have absolutely no faith in the people ruling your life. You're listening to the Wendy Bell Radio program. That sound was terrible. It was very distracting. That sound was very distracting. I don't think I connected it correctly or all the way, and it was so bad. I'm surprised I even got like subject-verb agreement going on there. It was very unsettling. Not the first time I've had to dance.
Let's do this. Let's go back to this. I'm gonna. Sorry, everybody. I'm gonna unplug this. We've been charging. So.
We had it the other way around before. Did you want to go back to that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe that'll help us out. Boy, you guys get the real story here. No fake news or lies going on here.
I don't know why that's so loose.
Yeah, that's better. I found myself talking into that bottom corner anyway.
Did you?
Yes. I'm so used to
Have
talking to them now. I'm like, hi. Oh, wait a minute. That's not the camera. I know. I'm sorry. You want me to booster with that when you go back? I'll do that. Ooh. I'm not touching it.
I'm not touching you.
Ah! Let's try that. All right, let's see if you guys can hear Brock talk a little bit. Oh my God. It's just this, the volume over here is really sensitive. Talk for a second. Blah, blah. Really overmodulated. I don't like this as much as I like the others. It is all about Wendy Bell. All right, so I want you to think to yourself, and then I'm going to have you call in because I want to hear what you think about this, all right? I just made a first blush list of the BS board here. Lies that we've been told, lies that have been passed off as truths, lies that have been said to you so repeatedly that if you dare to question them, right, you're the bad guy. All right, I want you to walk with me through this, okay? Black Lives Matter. All of that is a lie. Not that Black Lives Matter, but the whole mission statement of Black Lives Matter predicated on a lie. That white people don't like black people and black people are marginalized. They can't get ahead. Therefore, we need to do all these things. We need to Do I need to say more? Black Lives Matter. How about critical race theory based on a lie? A lie. And the goal is to, of course, restructure our history, rewrite it, okay? Fundamentally, I push back on that. Our borders are closed. Oh yes, Jen Psaki said that Monday. I've got that sound. Do they seem closed to you? That's a giant lie pushed by the propagandist in chief. How about weapons of mass destruction? Uh-oh, that was a lie. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. That was a lie. It started in a wet market. Mostly peaceful protests as the blowing up behind the reporter, right? How about anything the CDC tells you about COVID? Anything. Do you believe it? Or has it again and again been proven to you to be untruthful? Russia collusion, the Steele dossier, lies, 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 led to the impeachment twice of arguably the best president in my lifetime. How about everything January 6th? It was an insurrection. Baloney. Baloney. How about it was the safest, most secure election in history? And yet everything we're finding out about it was absolutely anything but. Voter ID is racist. Masks work. That's a lie, and they know it. Taxes won't go up. Just heard Joe Biden say this. Look, I know it's a couple $1 trillion, but this is a zero-sum game. You're not going to pay more. Really? You will. You guys gone shopping lately? Did you see what milk costs? I have. How about no new taxes? PCR tests. That's a lie. Those work. Cops target minorities. Lie. They overran hospitals. Media lying again and again and again, showing you pictures that weren't true, taking them out of context. That was a lie. We took out 2 ISIS-K terrorists. No, you killed 10 civilians. Lie. Military never told Biden to leave troops in Afghanistan. That was the biggest lie of them all. And we're going to dissect that coming up here in just a minute. Don't miss this audio. Lies. How about Trump lost? The unvaxxed are the biggest threat. Just say Fauci. That's all you need to say. Lie. Whipping migrants. That was a lie. Kids in cages. Donald Trump did that. No, he didn't. That was Obama. Lie. Women drinking from toilets. Never happened. Getting the shot is patriotic. That's a lie. It's not about freedom. It's all about freedom, ladies and gentlemen. All things Hunter Biden. Have you heard anything? Anybody ever actually talk about what's been discovered about Hunter Biden? No, because that's called plausible deniability. We don't know anything. That's a lie. Benghazi. The attack happened there on our embassy because of a video spread by Hillary Clinton. Lies. Mail-in voting can be trusted. The Capitol Police called the black Capitol Police officers were called racial slurs. No, they weren't. Where's the 14,000 hours of video? Climate change. You guys believe that? How about the world is going to end in 10 years? Biden's taxes. The NIH never funded gain-of-function research. All refugees are vetted. Biden won by 81 million votes. We're just getting started, ladies and gentlemen. Obamacare. Restricting monoclonal antibody treatments is about equity. America is racist. Biology doesn't matter. You can trust the media. Biden is running America. And Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. Lies, lies, lies. All of them. Lies. But you're told to trust, believe, follow, right? And if you don't, you're going to be like the 70,000 healthcare workers in New York, the 7,800 teachers, right? The Delta Airlines or United Airlines employees. What's your best lie? What's the lie that infuriates you the most? What have I forgotten on this list as we then move through the footage from yesterday? 833 WBR show. Call, get involved. I want to hear your voice. You're listening to Wendy Bell Radio.
So you weren't
This
hearing?
is terrible. I can't
It's
use
too loud.
I can't use that. So how do I get back into this?
I don't know.
Fudgesicles. This is an abject disaster.
Plug in.
I've tried a couple different things, and I don't know where it was one of these before, but it's not. Yes, but it's not.
Try line in.
What was this? No, there's nothing that seems to be coming out of there. I'm not hearing anything. Where there's that I hear. Hold on.
Well, I realized why they weren't hearing me.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
We never plugged
This
it.
is now too short though. What did we have in that before? Yeah, this is, I don't know what
I
happened.
remember. He had it plugged into this.
Okay. Well,
But he
'cause this
took
is
that.
Can we plug this in then?
Right?
Is it this one?
No.
This one? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Is it better?
Yeah. Holy moly, that was really
Sorry.
very difficult. Like, now it's too loud. I just gotta turn it down. Okay, let's see. Testing 1, 2. Wow. See, you guys get a show. I love it. All right, we got some calls. I love hearing from you guys, particularly when I'm having tragic issues with my audio. These people are hearing us.
Say that.
It's really loud. You're really loud.
Say what?
No, I'm just saying people called, so that's good. I'm glad that they heard. The audio wasn't bad.
Realistically, they should be able to hear me now, but
Yeah, I'll follow this. I'll follow this. Let's see.
Wendy Bell Radio.
Yeah, I wish the trolls would call in. Don't you wish that? I wish that. Let's have a conversation. I think that would be great.
Okay, where are you from, Rick? Cochranville?
So we're trying to do this so I can see the people who are calling in, and so Brock doesn't have to hold up signs that say Rick.
Okay.
So we're trying some new stuff today, and it's like, ah. Nice. Ooh, that makes sense. I like it.
Wendy Bell Radio. LD.
Outstanding.
What do you want to say?
I can't begin to tell you how distracting it is to have bad audio in your ears while you're trying to talk, because
okay,
I
hold
sounded
on.
like this. Crazy. Ooh, I like it.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, I like these.
Do you have a volume button on
I
yours?
don't.
Okay.
How's that?
No, it's
Yeah,
just it's really sensitive. So
How about now?
yeah, I got you.
Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully people can still hear you all right. Good. They're hearing you now.
Okay.
Good.
Kelly, sorry, I can't lighten up on the mic. It's a standard input. I have no control over it. So.
I love that people want to give you pointers. All right. Thanks, callers.
Yeah, how about I get crap for my mic not having control?
Nah. People trying to help you out.
So you can see the phone lines.
Mm-hmm.
You want to pick them up or you want me to pick them up?
So I would hit the top row if I wanted to take them.
Huh?
Maybe you can.
Thanks.
You're not doing anything. It's a joke. I'm interested. What have I forgotten? Because I know that there's a lot out there that I've forgotten. But this one,
Someone on the stream said Jesse Smollett,
that's
Bubba
true.
Wallace,
Those are all lies. Sure.
The View.
That's true. I agree. 100%.
Okay, here we go.
You know, and the funny thing that I've found out, so they think the National Guard is going to be able to come in and be mobilized to fulfill these obligations, these jobs of doctors and nurses and frontline workers. I'm sorry, but you do not fill holes that you create by putting in the National Guard. How is that going to solve a problem? The lies are overwhelming. They are every day. Enough. Enough is enough. And I know I'm not the only one, but for Joe Biden to have lied on national television, ladies and gentlemen, to say he got no military guidance from his top Pentagon brass, that he should have left U.S. troops behind in Afghanistan. Are you out of your mind? Did everybody out there say, what? And then the truth is coming out. I've got that sound for you. But before we get there, let's see what's going on with Rick in Philadelphia. Hi, Rick. Welcome to the program.
Hi, Wendy.
Hi.
Hey, I just had a question about the hearing yesterday. I didn't hear, as far as I can tell, anyone ask a question like, whose decision was it to pull out of Bagram Air Base?
Exactly right.
Whose decision was it to remove the troops from, basically the troops from Afghanistan, and then pull out the civilians.
Correct.
I mean, it made no sense.
No, and to give up
So-
that airbase, you have no ability now to get in or out. That was the actual nail in the coffin.
Yes.
I did not hear that question either, but we did get several of their verbal spaghetti non-answers. It is interesting. If you watched any of it, Rick, you heard the ire, though. They started getting frustrated. Millie, Mackenzie, Austin, they started getting frustrated. I wonder how long they're going to carry Joe Biden's water on this, because they're not going to be willing to go down with the ship. I just don't think they will. What do you think?
Well, just the fact that Millie said that he didn't think it was his duty to resign.
Ha.
You know,
Ha.
to me, if you don't agree with the decision as a political, as a military officer and stuff, I would say, hey, I can't support this individual.
Right on. Well, and how many people in the,
That's not where I'm at.
I agree. And how many people in the Trump administration either quote unquote resigned or were moved along? It's real quick to figure out who's with you and who's not. Facts. And I agree with what you said, Rick. Let's get out to LB is calling from Erie. Hi, LB.
Hey, Wendy, how are you?
I'm great. Go ahead. Give me a lie.
I have no lie to add to the board. The big lie is this pandemic that they've been pushing since the, 2019, event 201 that, it's not in the media, but this pandemic, they're using that to perpetuate the other lies that they've, drummed up.
I don't disagree with you. And I've heard even Jen Psaki make mention of it. Joe Biden make mention of the idea that this isn't the only pandemic, that they're planning for the next one. Wait a minute. No. We're not down with next. I'm so intrigued that a country like Norway, with a fraction of our population, can manage to, over the weekend, basically drop the hammer on this whole thing and say, look, we are treating COVID as the flu. We're getting back on with our lives. You people in Norway, the citizens, know how to live. You know what to do. You did so for generations before this whole thing hit. And what LB is talking about in terms of Event 201, that's scary as nuts. That's the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, September 2019 pandemic catastrophe training scenario. Doesn't it feel all a little too close? Aren't those dots a little too easy to connect? It's gross, but lest we, get sidetracked here and ask people what their real motivations were. Well, just in the event that something happened where, we wanted to be ready. Perfect. Let's see what's going on with Tony and Rankin. Hi, Tony. Welcome.
Morning, Wendy. How are you?
I'm great. What's up? Do you have a lie for me? Because I'm sure you do.
I concur with the previous caller. I call it either COVIDiocy or the shamdemic. And, we're continuing to live this lie. I was driving around yesterday, I had a day off, and people walking around like zombies with masks on, masks below their chin. The streets are desolate.
I don't know where you are.
Where
Is this in Rankin that you said that in this
Oh,
area?
Rankin, Swissville, Braddock, North
Gotcha.
Braddock,
Gotcha.
that area.
Mhm.
It's just a complete compromise and just such a reduction of the quality of life that we used to have. And I ran into a friend in the store yesterday, and I said, "How you doing?" It was nice to see her. I hadn't seen her in a couple of years. Well, as good as to be expected. I said, "Well, what do you mean?" Well, she said, COVID. I said,
What about it?
and you made a good point. You made a good point last week, Wendy, and I agree 100%. If you turn your TV off, it almost doesn't exist. You know what I mean?
Honest to God.
And then you walk around and you start seeing these people. I'll never get used to the masks. I'll
No.
never get used to the silly restrictions that they expect us to live under. But
Sure.
you know what? It's waning, and it's starting to disappear slowly, and there's nothing they can do about it.
Well, I don't disagree with you, Tony. I always enjoy hearing your voice. I was at a Target yesterday, had to do some shopping. And I and maybe 5 other people I saw in the entire store were not wearing masks. Every single other person. Look, you have your reason to do what you want to do. Okay? But come on. I've already turned the page. We're moving forward, okay? I know as a healthy young woman, my chances are greater than 99%. I'm going to be okay. If you choose to live in fear, if you want to believe all of the dots on the board behind me that connect to the greatest lie, right? That's on you. I'm going to choose a different path. Hey, Tom, you're calling from Baltimore. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Wendy.
Hi.
One of the biggest lies that really gets me is our Justice Department. They're having, it's ridiculous. We have Hillary Clinton. That was a mistake she made. We have Andrew McCabe. He was supposed to be indicted. Never heard anything.
Isn't he? I think he's working for CNN now. I think Andrew. Yeah, I think he's at CNN. That's what you do. You fail upwards and land with the media.
Yeah, but where's the justice?
Right on.
It's not there.
Right on. 100%.
It's ridiculous.
I agree with you. And you know what? Then you also start to consider the judges. Do you actually believe judges? Do you believe they actually put their hand on the Bible and took an oath that they have subscribed to and that they've fulfilled? I mean, think about that. Have you guys ever been on a court case? Have you ever had to testify in court? The gravity of that serious oath saying, I promise to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, under penalty by law, perjury. That's like child's game now. When the president of the United States, in mental decline or otherwise, can systematically and repeatedly be a serial liar and get away with it, right? I can't fathom how Joe and Bill Biden can make $13 million not being in office. Don't tell me that's not quid pro quo. And then get away with not paying taxes on it. Have you guys ever been audited? I have, and I pay my taxes. They were so far up my skirt, it's not even funny. But if you're a member of the elite, you can get away with whatever you want. I agree exactly with Bill there. Enough. All right, let's see what we've got. We've got coming up. I see Brock on the phone. He's doing a million things. So I want to play this audio, these audio sound bites for you, because there actually are some members of Congress who are saying, well, wait a minute. You said, General Milley, or you didn't say that we should leave troops behind? How about that? Before we do that, let me get to Sue. Sue's calling from Scranton. Hey, Sue, welcome to the Wendy Bell radio program. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, Wendy. How are you?
I'm terrific. What's going on? Lie to me. Come on, I'm used to it.
The vaccine works.
There you go. Well, I think the vaccine works for some people, and I think for other people, it's not the greatest thing to do.
To me, it's the definition of stupidity with the booster shot. You got the shot, you got the second shot. The definition of stupidity is to keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. I
think that's insanity, but I think if you put those together, it's the same sort of idea. I know where you're coming from. I definitely get it, Now, I know it makes a lot of people angry when I say the vaccine is effective. It does do something for doctors to prescribe it, including my own husband, to prescribe it for specific people. I don't think it should be a blanket. It's not for everyone. That's the rub. How about Carl in Louisiana? What's going on, Carl? Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm down here. I'm 5 miles outside of New Orleans. And I know we tired of getting hit by this weather warfare they sending us.
Yes.
From Katrina, I had 9 foot of water in my house.
Oh, my gosh.
And it just don't stop.
Right.
But, yeah, I hear a lot about the mask and these facts we got going on and different things. And the people that need to start standing up is the people that took these things. That need to come out and they got these shots and start realizing that, hey, man, they trying to kill us. It's just I see a lot of things going on, and I try to get out there and talk to people, and and stuff. But a lot of people just don't want to listen.
Well, I think a lot of people want to choose a camp. You know, you want to choose a side. It used to be left or right, black or white, you know, this or that. Now it's vaxxed on. It's just so useless. I mean, I really don't want to believe that our government is trying to kill us. I really don't. I have a hard time going there. That would be about one of the most bleak things I could ever submit. That I believe that. I believe that they are systemic liars. I know they want to control, kill. I don't know. I know they hate America. Anybody who wants to do what they're trying to accomplish hates America and hates those of us who love America. Take Donald Trump out of it. If you love America, if you fundamentally embrace our history and you're like, wow, we are so not perfect, but we are outstanding and we can get so much better. How exciting. If that's your view, then you should be hated. I fundamentally push back against that. You know, if you've ever suffered a concussion or a traumatic brain injury, you've been in an accident. I had an uncle who fell off of a ladder and he was rattled for years. What if you could go somewhere and even years later, have your brain injury healed and have your symptoms go away and not need to have surgery and get results in less than a week? That is what Dr. Charles Simkovich and his team at the Simkovich Concussion Institute do. It's a revolutionary procedure and it completely, fundamentally changes lives. It costs you nothing to investigate. Pick up the phone, 412-366-3700. Go to SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. All right, so what have I been talking about? This whole 45 minutes prior, lies, lies, lies. It came out in such big, bold colors yesterday at the Senate Intelligence hearing. I've got the sound for you and the flashback to Joe Biden. So who's actually telling the truth? You're listening to the Wendy Bell radio program.
So what are we?
I'm thinking.
Yeah, if I'm doing phones, I can't be doing sound.
No.
Just
No. That's not what I was stalling.
I was on the phone. I'm like,
No. I was stalling because I knew you weren't available. That's all. I think Tom Cotton is good. Actually, we'll start with number one. Jim Inhofe and General McKenzie. I think that's probably the most crazy.
I think we should remind people what Joe Biden said prior.
Should we start with that?
I think we should.
That's a great idea. Let's do that. So cut 2.
Correct.
Right on. That's a good point. Christy writes, the only thing they aren't lying to us about is that they want to change America. I agree. What were you going to say?
Am I too loud? Is your volume?
I took it out. I can hear you just fine
Okay.
without it. Plus, I'm an expert lip reader. Okay, whatever. This is aggravating me. I need to find the right zone.
Yeah, don't touch it. When you're talking, don't touch it.
You know what? I didn't have a choice. Wow. Do you want me to come in there and tell you what buttons to push?
Well, I can tell you when you touch the mic, it sounds. It's a
Brock, it's hump day.
hump day.
I was completely neglectful of that fact at the beginning of the show, and I'm tragically sorry. This was really disconcerting, or as you would say, disconcerting. This is really. I know.
My lips, I hate you.
I can read your lips and hear you when you say you
can
hate
hear
me.
me.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
That's a nice mug.
Yes. Do you guys like this? Success isn't owned, it's
I said
rented.
that yesterday.
Yes, and it's. I thought you gave me the other one. Huh. Fake news. Okay, the only way to lay this out in the correct way so that you can decide as super smart purveyors of information is to hear it yourself. So this is back in August. This is President Biden speaking with George Stephanopoulos about, so you thought it was a good idea to just cut and run out of Afghanistan, leaving no military behind. Cut to.
Your top military advisors warned against withdrawing on this timeline. They wanted you to keep about 2,500 troops.
No, they didn't. It was split. That wasn't true. That wasn't true.
They didn't tell you that they wanted troops to stay?
No, not in terms of whether we were going to get out in a time frame, all troops. They didn't argue against that.
So no one told, your military advisors did not tell you, no, we should just keep 2,500 troops. It's been a stable situation for the last several years. We can do that. We can continue to do that.
No one said that to me that I can recall.
2,500. I think I said 25,000. 2,500 troops. Nobody told you, President Biden, that the stable situation that we've had in Afghanistan for 2 decades is going to remain stable with those military. No, nobody said that to me. Okay. Yesterday, cut number 1. This is Senator Jim Inhofe asking General Kenneth McKenzie from U.S. Central Command. So was it your recommendation to not leave 2,500 troops? What say you, General? Go.
But I'd ask General McKenzie, did you agree to the recommendation that General Miller had 2 weeks ago?
Senator, again, I won't share my personal recommendation to the president, but I will give you my honest opinion, and my honest opinion and view shaped my recommendation. I recommended that we maintain 2,500 troops in Afghanistan. And I also recommended earlier in the fall of 2020 that we maintain 4,500 at that time. Those are my personal views. I also have a view that the withdrawal of those forces would lead inevitably to the collapse of the Afghan military forces and eventually the Afghan government.
Yes, so I understand that. And General Milley, I assume you agree with that in terms of the recommendation of 2,500?
What I said in my opening statement and the memoranda that I wrote back in the fall of 2020 remained consistent, and I do agree with that.
This committee is unsure as to whether or not General Miller's recommendation ever got to the president. Obviously, there are conversations with the president, but I would like to ask, even though General McKenzie, I think you've all made this statement, did you talk to the president about General Miller's recommendation?
Sir, I was present when that discussion occurred, and I'm confident that the president heard all the recommendations and listened to them very thoughtfully.
Only did General McKenzie say he recommended 2,500 troops stay behind. He at one point had said as many as 4,000 troops should stay behind. Beyond that, the other top Pentagon brass concur. That was also my understanding. I was in the room when this conversation was had. But wait a minute. What was cut one again, Brock? What was that? Because that's not what Joe Biden says.
Your top military advisors warned against withdrawing on this timeline. They wanted you to keep about 2,500 troops.
No, they didn't. It was split. That wasn't true. That wasn't true.
They didn't tell you that they wanted troops to stay?
No, not in terms of whether we were going to get out in a time frame, all troops. They didn't argue against that.
So no one told, your military advisors did not tell you, no, we should just keep 2,500 troops. It's been a stable situation for the last several years. We can do that. We can continue to do that.
No one said that to me that I can recall.
Somebody's lying. Who's lying? The three men who just swore under oath before they began that Senate committee hearing? Or the liar in chief? The man who has made a lifetime out of lying. The man who lied about law school, who lied about his placement in class. The man who plagiarized. I mean, how far do we need to go on this? And how do you keep a president in office who says this stuff, who lies? In an upcoming soundbite, you're going to hear General Milley, who's been accused of working with Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, to circumvent in a treasonous fashion the President of the United States and alert China, don't worry about it. Trump's deranged, but he's not going to bomb you guys. You're going to hear him respond to that, okay? How far do they need to root out the evil here? How many people need to go? They thought Trump was unhinged. They thought Donald Trump was unstable, who I have never seen be not lucid, not completely coherent, not able to field any question at any time from anyone in any circumstance. And then you have hyperbaric chamber Joe, who's got to get juiced up on something so he can appear in a George Stephanopoulos interview, who then resorts back to what he normally does. Lie. Who's calling the shots, ladies and gentlemen? How deep does it go? I've got more sound for you. I'm sorry, it's going to make you angry, but you need to know the truth about the lies. You're listening to the Wendy Bell Radio program.
Pressing a lot more buttons today.
You are. You're good at what you do.
Yeah.
You disagree.
Just doing my job. Oh, no visceral response.
Whatever.
No, it's just getting everything
Whoa. Whoa.
Whoa.
A new poll by Quinnipiac.
36, 30, 29, 24. No. Approval. 20. 20. His approval rating is 20 points, 20%. Can't be that low. I'm calling fake news.
Do you believe it, though? I mean, what do you believe? You're looking puzzled.
Oh, and by the way, can we put another lie on the board?
Yes.
You said you were a young lady. Young?
When did I say that?
When you were talking about getting the shot, you said, I'm a young, fit woman. Or young, fit lady.
51 ain't old, babe.
I'm just calling fake news on that one.
So what you want to say is middle-aged. Wow.
Whatever, Lemon. Don Lemon. Right. See, there you go.
I feel young.
Well, that's not what you said.
I feel
Words matter.
young.
I'm centering you.
Wow, this is bad.
51 is the new 31. No, it's not.
Don't you think people always felt like they were younger than their age? To some degree.
What 51 can do.
I remember my mom's 40th birthday because they had a catered dinner at our house.
Oh, you thought you were old?
I thought it was just like, oh my gosh, I don't know how many more of these I'm going to be able to share with my parents. They're so old. 40.
I'm getting yelled at on here.
Ooh, why? Because you're mean to me?
Brock, watch your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
51 isn't old. Or age isn't a...
Deb, the shot is best for people over 65. What's so hard about this?
So what are we going...
I'm going to start with this, but then I think we need to do some Tom Cotton, some Tommy Tuberville, to Lloyd Austin. It's not Tuberville.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
He was a football coach, Tommy Tuberville.
No way.
Okay. Hold on.
No way. Really? I've always pronounced it the wrong way? No way. I don't believe you. I'm going to do a search. Pronounce.
Brock Schneider, she is young. That's rude. LOL. I know I'm probably going to get emails about how we talk to each other again.
Let's hear it. Say.
Who's got my back about Tuberville?
Hey,
Richard, Brock is right.
Okay, I'm
Karen,
wrong.
Brock is right.
Jagoffs.
Wow. Maybe I could at least win best Jagoff.
Is it really? That's outstanding. Hold on.
Tommy Tuberville.
Tubber. 100% right on. Thank you. Hey, man, thank you for correcting me. I don't need help looking stupid. I can do that on my own. That's outstanding.
What are you
Thank
doing
you.
after work?
What am I doing after work? Why? Are you asking me out on a date? I know that was creepy. Didn't it sound creepy?
It did.
That was creepy. No, not me. You. What are you doing now? Hey, you. What are you doing?
Oh, because that's how I said
What are
it.
you doing? I'm actually going to the gym.
Me too.
Fake news.
Wow.
Brock is gym bound. Okay. Hey, we're all about honesty. Tuberville. Who knew? Wow. Well, I didn't.
A lot of people in the...
You guys are smarter than I am. That's outstanding.
We're starting with Tom Cotton, you said?
Yes, sir. Wow. This is bananas.
I don't know what to do after work.
I don't ever have that problem. I got a soccer game. We've got a soccer practice. I got to call with my financial advisor. I've got to deal with the guy who's finishing our basement. I need to get a guy to do drywall. I'm sorry. Did you want more? You can come over to my life. I have to check in for.
How about get off the grass?
Wow.
We need the wood.
Mm-hmm. You know, the Daily Wire headline says it all. Biden lied. President blasted after top generals directly contradict what Biden said about Afghanistan. I've got sound I want to play for you guys, but I want to just walk through how ineptitude, how delusions of power and control, and how ego and cheating and lying put all of us in an absolutely untenable, unwinnable situation. I think about the Gold Star families, more than 2,000 of them, who lost sons or daughters, 13 most recently in the last month, who just buried their children because of a debacle. We can talk about why we were in Afghanistan. It was obviously the knee-jerk reaction to 9/11. I get all of this. Should we have been out a long time ago? Absolutely. Is it our moral imperative to raise those children who managed to Scooby on board those planes before American citizens because it was an absolute shite show? No. And what we are fundamentally being dragged into is we're going to make a mess because we're ill-equipped to have ever been here in the first place. There's no reason ever we should be in the White House. We knew we would never win. We cheated because we had to cheat to win. You can think that's not a popular opinion, but it is my opinion, and I believe it. Those aren't baseless claims. There's not a snowball's chance in heck that 81 million people got down with a doddering old plagiarist. Period. But because of that ineptitude, because of that administration picking similarly inept, unqualified people in positions that they should not have been in, so they could pat themselves on the back and say, oh my gosh, we're so great. Look how wonderful we are. We have all these minorities. We're giving all these people these great opportunities. I mean, forget if they're good at their jobs. And the failure in chief, the president himself, I mean, it's a trickle down of failure. And then the audacity to come in from Congress and to try to backdoor slam you with the bill. It is beyond offensive. It is egregious. Will anybody ever actually pay? The caller before, Rick, who said, I think Rick or Bill, who said, you know what, there's no justice. We can sit here and spin our wheels all day and talk about all the preposterous failures. When is there a consequence to the offenders? Because it's always people like you, like me, like Gold Star families, like border agents, like farmers and people who own businesses on the border, who are being strong-armed by migrants coming across who trash their property and their fields. We are the ones who pick up the pieces of this abject failure. Listen to Senator Tom Cotton yesterday. I thought this was a reasonable exchange. I forget who he's talking to here. I think it might be Milley. It might be General Milley and McKenzie. All right. So if you're just putting this all together, Mark Milley, obviously the chairman of the Joint Chiefs.
I think he talks to Austin too.
And General Kenneth McKenzie, he's the commander of Central Command. And then, of course, you've got Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin here. Listen to Tom Cotton ask the questions that we all want to ask, and then the answers of this administration.
General Milley, it's your testimony that you recommended 2,500 troops approximately stay in Afghanistan?
As I've said many times before this committee and other committees, I don't share my personal recommendations to the president, but I can tell you my personal opinion and my assessment if that's what you want.
Yes, please.
Yes, my assessment was back in the fall of 20, and it remained consistent throughout, that we should keep a steady state of 2,500, and it could bounce up to 3,500, maybe something like that, in order to move toward a negotiated, gated solution.
General McKenzie, do you share that assessment?
Senator, I do share that assessment.
Did you ever present that opinion personally to President Biden?
Again, I'm not going to be able to comment on those executive discussions.
Secretary Austin, President Biden last month in an interview with George Stephanopoulos said that no military leader advised him to leave a small troop presence in Afghanistan. Is that true?
Senator Cotton, I believe that, well, first of all, I know the president to be an honest and forthright man. And secondly,
it's a simple question, Secretary Austin. He said no senior military leader advised him to leave a small troop presence behind. Is that true or not? Did these officer and General Miller's recommendations get to the president personally?
their input was received by the president and considered by the president, for sure.
I mean, it sounds to me, it's shocking to me. It sounds to me like maybe their best military advice was never presented personally to the President of the United States about such a highly consequential matter.
But we know from the earlier soundbite that, in fact, they were all in the room. And they heard that advice being delivered directly to the ears of the alleged commander-in-chief. Why is it so hard for Defense Secretary Austin to just tell the truth? Like, at what point, ladies and gentlemen, do you sacrifice your integrity to toe the line? Is it the loss of a job? Is he going to get fired? Can you imagine if the Biden administration let go a black senior member of its administration, of its cabinet, for telling the truth? This guy's got job protection. Just tell the truth. You guys told the president. He openly denied your advice. Joe Biden is not an expert in Afghanistan any more than I am, which is why you have key players in the Pentagon and in the Defense Department whose job is to guide you. So was the purpose chaos? Was the purpose loss of life? Was the purpose a rash and harried evacuation to get as many migrants, many refugees on those planes and screw over the Americans and our allies there who qualified for special immigrant visas, who are still there twisting in the wind? And by the way, is anybody going to ask about those people? We're falling over ourselves in this administration, making everything so easy to these people who are coming here unlawfully. We know for a fact they're not being vetted appropriately, but they're being shuttled into the interior of the United States, and you are expected to pay for them. You must educate them. You must help them assimilate. Well, what happens when things go sideways culturally? Because the whole notion of Sharia law from Afghanistan and what we believe as laws and decent behavior here in the United States are directly contradictory. Was this all a plan? We know from intel that they knew the suicide bombing was imminent. They knew the very gate and didn't pass that information off, reportedly, to those servicemen and women answering this president's call, which was directly contradictory to the military advice his generals had given him. And then, and this is always the sign of a liar, you heard Lloyd Austin, the defense secretary, though. You see Jen Psaki pay close attention to people's body language. She flips through her pages, right? Not really going anywhere, but I'm about to grease you with a big one. Lloyd Austin, I can tell you, having known this president for so long, his integrity. That's not what I asked you. That's not the question. And my time is limited, Senator Cotton said. Answer the question. Biden knew, yes or no. We were all in the room. So now what? Now what? Do you guys have any faith that there's anything that's going to happen? Is there going to be any kind of justice? Is anybody going to hold Joe Biden accountable for lying on national television, for directly being responsible for the deaths of 13 U.S. service members and how many other Afghan folks who are just trying to get the hell out of their country? Or is he going to get a Nobel Prize? Is that the next logical step when you fail upwards, checking boxes instead of giving a crap about America? And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the crux of Make America Great Again. Build Back Better is a lie. I should have put that on the board front and center. There is nothing happening with this administration that is either building or better. That is the biggest lipstick on a pig misnomer lie. Meanwhile, on the other side are people who believe in America first, America jobs, America manufacturing, America safety, America's children, protecting America's old and infirm, America innovation, America's freedoms. That's what you get. And when I read you this next story coming up, whoa, you're going to see it's actually people are catching on. This is not being brushed under the rug. And I have one more soundbite for you guys too, as well. I want to tell you quickly about my friend Tom Yakupin. He does something that's very interesting. He has a product called Deductible Buster. Okay, bear with me here, all right? Health insurance oftentimes does not pay a whole lot until after you pay your deductible, and then there's an outrageous copay. Oftentimes, you can end up paying more out of pocket than your insurance company even does. What's the point if you have to do that, right? This is where Deductible Buster comes in. It can make your insurance work better for you. If you have an individual or even a group insurance plan, you could qualify for Deductible Buster so that your entire hospital bill is paid. You don't pay. Deductible Buster can make it work better for you. Visit deductiblebuster.com. View the simple explainer videos there. Ask for a no obligation quote. Deductiblebuster.com, making health insurance work better. All right, when we come back, I want to tie this up. Okay, I can beat this dead horse so many times, but just know that Joe Biden lied. He is the liar in chief, and America is catching on. Wow. Bombshell new approval ratings, or should I say disapproval. We'll walk you through those coming up next on the Wendy Bell Radio program. Wow.
For the people saying Facebook is interrupting the show, this is why we ask you to download the app, Wendy Bell Radio Network app. This is eventually we're going to be there full time, and we'll stay on Facebook as long as possible. But this is why we did it. So shameless plug, maybe, but
no, it's not. It's a work for you, so that we can always stay connected. Facts.
I think Jason said we're around 14 to 15,000 downloads. That's not enough for me, but
I definitely need to do a video just to remind people, because it's easy to, you get busy, things happen, and you stop paying attention to that. I need to hit it more.
it seems we have all the sound issues working.
All right, so
Where do you want to go next?
I think the only thing we haven't done is Tuberville. It seems so odd to say that. It sounds wrong.
So does I should have went.
Yeah, so that is wrong. There's a difference.
What's that?
It is wrong, though. This is scary.
I love Wendy Bell Radio on my Facebook. Go Brock, go. Hey, Facebook has been fantastic for us, but
yes, we're very
I
appreciative.
recommending downloading the app because once Facebook shuts you down, they shut you down. Like, so there's going to be no. You hear, oh man, what did she say it was? Even if you still use Facebook, I would probably download the app. The app is Wendy Bell Radio Network. Wendy Bell Radio Network. We're gonna have other stuff on the app too. So BS boards are there. We're gonna have some show resources. So where we get some of our information from. There's going to be a lot more than just Wendy Bell. Maybe some live podcasts of other people.
I'd love that. I think branching out and having more conservative commentators from other countries joining us would be outstanding. I'd love to find somebody from Australia, to be honest with you, because what's going on there is just... So I want to play this soundbite for you now. One of the last ones, and I'm sure there's going to be more, I believe one of the last ones regarding this subject. Brock looked at me like I had 4 heads. That was, you think I'm lying? I'm not lying. I want you to hear this. Senator Tommy Tuberville to Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin. And he's talking about vaccines. I think it is so fundamentally wrong. Next to college kids or high schoolers, I think mandating this vaccine for arguably the healthiest, most fit group of Americans among us is nothing short of unconscionable. What they're doing is they're trying to get big globs of people, right? Well, if we get Disney, they've got how many hundreds of thousands of employees? Well, we've got all federal workers. How many millions is that? And then we're going to get all college kids. That's another couple million, right? And how about the military? Of course. Don't worry that anybody there might have already had the virus. Don't mind there that anybody who puts their hand up and volunteers to protect and serve strangers shouldn't be told how to live their lives and what should be injected into their bodies. This is a very interesting line of questioning to Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin. Go ahead.
Question, officer. Are you against dishonorable discharges to the military for not taking a vaccine? You're the leader of the DOD.
I am the leader, and again, we have a non-judicial, a UCMJ that really addresses all of the issues in the military and gives our leadership what they need to be able to enforce standards. Taking a vaccine is a requirement, and again, I'll just leave it at that.
Answer the question. This guy is in charge of the Defense Department, under which how many tens, hundreds of thousands of young men and women serve. And the question is very simple. Do you support, or are you against, rather, dishonorable discharge for those who receive or who deny the vaccine, who won't get it? Answer the question. I cannot answer the question. Therefore, I will give you verbal spaghetti that does nothing. And that, ladies and gentlemen, that answer is indicative of our country right now. Going in circles, pointing to other people. Well, I can't answer that question. You'll have to ask the State Department. State Department says, I don't know. You'll have to talk to DHS. They say, well, you know what, DOD, they're the ones who are really in charge. At the end of the day, what are you doing? Running from place to place to place. All you have is a question. All you want is answered. How many Americans are still in Afghanistan? Are you testing migrants who come across the border? How many have you already accepted as you tidily cleaned up the Del Rio Bridge? How many are here? Where are they? Who are they? No answers. And I have to wonder, a career military man like Lloyd Austin, with more bars on his chest than I could imagine, obviously highly regarded. At what point does a man who has served his country for that long stand up and push back against an administration that is lying to people? What does it take? Is he that afraid of losing his job? Are you that afraid of getting up, standing up, and walking away and starting something new? Because they're banking on you being too weak to make a stand. They're the almighty power. They're the most intelligent in the room. They know what's best for you. But God forbid you should push back, and God forbid somebody sees you push back and they push back, and then all of a sudden you're one of 70,000 healthcare workers who say, not a chance. That's where we are. I'm intrigued by these hearings. I don't believe anything ever comes out of them, though. I think it's a lot of tweeting, a lot of senators who get to take snippets on Twitter and put it out there to make themselves look like they're doing something. But at the end of the day, if your party is weak and the other party is corrupt, what do you actually get? You get a system that doesn't work, a system that is fed by lies and an American public expected to pay for them. That's where we are. How do you guys like this number? 20%. Is it possible that Joe Biden's approval numbers could have absolutely cratered that far? Apparently, yes. I've got the poll. I will read it to you coming up right after this. You're listening to the Wendy Bell Radio program.
Are you looking to lose weight, the weight you always wanted to lose, but you can't? Your hormones could be to blame. If you're frustrated and just want answers as to why you're not losing weight, then contact me, Dr. Dubiak, at Advanced Integrative Medical 360. We're Pittsburgh.
You like that? I made that.
Yes, I love it.
I don't know what to say to people when you say the app doesn't work.
When they say what?
The app doesn't work. Because then you have people saying it's working for me.
I have no problem with the app.
Yeah,
You know, and apps are supposed to be for ease of use. So you don't have to search my name or go to Facebook. You have it on your phone. You hit it. It comes up. There will be an ad there that says, hi, this is who we are, because we have to pay our developer, and that costs money. And we hope that you click on that and you read about one of our sponsors, but you don't have to. You can just hit the little X at the top of the page, you know, in that box, and it takes you to the screen. And it's all very clearly listed for you. Watch live, BS boards, about the show, who we are. It's very simple.
yeah, I'm
Now,
taking me off of it.
huh?
I'm taking my picture off of it.
Whatever you want to do. I don't care.
I want it to work for everyone, you know, but it's just like, and I understand sometimes there's going to be glitches. I was on the Daily Wire's app yesterday. Daily Wire, they must have had something wrong with their app because I couldn't get any of the podcasts or anything like that. So I was just like, okay, I'll
come back later.
I'll come back later.
Right.
I know when something doesn't work for me, usually it's my fault. Usually I've done something wrong.
It's always my fault.
I'm just so pumped we have an app.
You're what?
I'm pumped we have an app. Like, you know, like.
Oh my gosh, it's such a huge deal. I'm pumped that radio stations are finding us, or station owners are finding us and reaching out and saying, how do I get you? That is like, that doesn't happen. Usually you're knocking on doors saying, hi, can you pay attention to me? Pay attention to me.
Yeah, right.
This doesn't happen, and it's happening. It's really beyond what I can.
And some are going out of their way and getting rid of people that I know. We talked yesterday, and I was like, they're getting rid of blank, and you're like, who's that? And I, you know, just
like a station wants to take our show, and in order to do that, they have to move that person who had been in that time slot somewhere else. And I wasn't familiar with the person, and Brock, obviously being career radio, knows all the ins and outs of this. Meanwhile, I'm like, "Durr." And he said, no,
it's significant.
That's a pretty big name. And I was like, oh,
I mean,
I need to get out more, apparently. No, but that's
Jenny, I'm sorry. I keep hoping WKOK 1070 will pick it up.
Where's that?
I don't know.
Tell us.
I'd have to look it up. Call them.
Yes. We believe in grassroots.
I truly believe if you call a radio station, they're going to at least check it out. You know, because you always want to be the first to get it.
Well,
because once one station in the market gets it, no one else can carry it.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. You give station exclusivity.
Wow. Sort of like going on a permanent date, getting matching tats.
Well, how would you feel if you took a show and then that show sold to the next guy right next door?
No, it makes sense. Right?
Go.
Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to the Wendy Bell Radio program. We're so excited to have you along on this Wednesday, which is, Brock, I'm giving you an opening here and you're not paying attention. What is it? Thank you very much. Okay, so according to Breitbart.com, this is astonishing to me. And now I will tell you that I take most news, air quote, intended, lightly. I think everybody seems to have an agenda, and it's very difficult to avoid that agenda. However, polls, kind of interesting. Something interesting to choke on. Not choke on, but chew on. This might choke the Biden administration. DHS Mayorkas, loose border, chokes Joe Biden's poll ratings. President Joe Biden's approval ratings on immigration have crashed, according to a poll of Texas voters, makes sense, by Quinnipiac. The September 24th through 27th poll of 863 registered voters showed that Biden's immigration ratings have plunged to 20% approval. What? 20% approval, disapproval. Now, mind you, this is a red state. Yeah, mind you, the people being polled already pay between, what did I say, $885 million and $1.1 billion in their own added state taxes that you and I who don't live in Texas pay because of migration, because of migrants coming across the border, because of their healthcare costs, because of them delivering babies, because of the cost of educating and making well and housing and feeding. That's a heck of a lot of money. So we can understand the population being pulled here. They're really tired of being Biden's doormat. Much of the credit for the poll damage, this article says, should be shared with Biden's own border chief, Alejandro Mayorkas. The poll was taken as the TV networks showed how Mayorkas's welcome for migrants helped cause the landing by 30,000 migrants in Del Rio, Texas. In June, 29% of registered Texas voters backed Biden's loose border policies, according to a prior Quinnipiac survey. The brutal ratings of this survey are a huge contrast from industry-funded pro-amnesty, rose-tinted push polls used to promote the pending amnesties in the U.S. Senate. For example, a September 1st survey by the American Business Immigration Coalition claims that roughly 75% of voters support the amnesty proposals in the Democrats' budget reconciliation spending bill. We're gonna talk a little bit more in detail about what this is going to cost. The push poll is intended to prod two Democratic senators in Arizona, Senator Kristen Sinema and Senator Mark Kelly, into voting for the Senate drafts amnesties and immigration expansions. It's not America first, ladies and gentlemen. It's you last. I want you to hear this sound. Cut number 5. When asked a very pointed question, Press Secretary Jen Psaki, well, she just blatantly laid a huge egg on my BS board of lies. Go ahead.
President Obama said on ABC about the border.
President Obama or President Biden?
President Obama.
Okay.
On ABC said immigration is tough. This was an interview that aired on Good Morning America.
Got it. Yes.
Immigration is tough. It has always been, because on one hand, I think we're naturally a people that wants to help others. At the same time, we're a nation state. We have borders. The idea that we can just have open borders is something that, as a practical matter, is unsustainable. Does President Biden agree with President Obama that open borders is unsustainable?
We don't have open borders. So yes, he agrees.
I want that to settle there for a minute. We don't have open borders. We've already seen 1.5 million migrants cross over into this country in this president's administration. 1.5 million. Compare that to 2020's 450,000, which is still too many. You know, and here's the thing that I don't get. Well, I do, because on the left, it's all about feelings. It's feelings. We worry about these people. We're good, honorable people. Listen to Joe Biden talking about the fictitious takeaway of the Border Patrol agents' reins being used as a whip. Factually incorrect. Don't let that get in the way of your feelings. It's outrageous. And those people will pay, he said. Feelings. Humane. We want to do what's humane. Yeah, but when you're inept, humane plus incompetent or inept equals chaos. And this is where we are. Whistleblower alleges Border Patrol agents must now get vaccinated or face termination. Let me read that to you again. Border Patrol agents must face vaccination or must be vaccinated or face termination. Who doesn't have to be vaccinated? That's right. All those migrants crossing into the country. To the tune of, what did I say? 1.5 million since January 20th of this year. A whistleblower has alleged the Biden administration ordered U.S. Border Patrol agents to get vaccinated by November or else face termination, even as thousands of coronavirus positive migrants stream across the porous southern border. Can you imagine? It's one thing to try to push the buttons of people who were yesterday's heroes, the frontline heroes, the doctors and nurses. Remember the stories, the breathless stories, They were working 24 hours on, 8 hours off, changing their clothes in the garage because they didn't want to bring whatever might have been on their clothes into their families. The tears, the exhaustion, the endless video. How awful these heroes have survived, and without them, we'd be doomed. Now they are the scourge, those who will not comply. So you have 70,000 healthcare workers just in New York ready to walk. You have almost 8,000 teachers just in New York ready to walk. What if the paltry 1,400 U.S. Customs and Border Patrol agents tasked with monitoring the border only in Texas, what if they said, forget about it? Governor Abbott said he'd give them jobs and won't force them to get vaccinated. Is that the end game? Is that what this is about? Is it the administration's own chaos theory? We're going to put people in untenable situations specifically so that they must make a decision. And when they walk away, we will then blame them for the ensuing crisis, be it people dropping dead from heart attacks because there's nobody in the emergency room to staff to attend to them. Kids are going to fall further behind in school, which will be then furthering the Democrat dumbing down of America. We can then bring in new people to infiltrate our educational system with messages regarding CRT. The 1619 Project will completely eliminate all American flags. Forget the Pledge of Allegiance. God is already dead in school. Is that the plan? In a letter addressed to DHS Chief Alejandro Mayorkas on Tuesday, Representative Jim Jordan, ranking member on the House Judiciary Committee, and Representative Tim McClintock asked why agents at the southern border are now being ordered to get vaccinated or face termination during a difficult crisis created by the Biden administration. I'll add that. While our border is facing the serious crisis, we've learned that you're threatening to terminate a significant portion of Customs and Border Protection workforce, this letter says. On September 9th, 2021, President Biden issued Executive Order 14043 requiring federal employees to get vaccinated. What are you doing? The letter was undoubtedly referring to recent comments made by Kamala Harris, who likened images of Border Patrol going back to the whipping. This is the greatest hits. Emotion. This is what's happening. Cue your contingent, cue your Maxine Waters. She can whip up the fervor. Look at what's going on down there. People being treated, people who are black, being treated unfairly. Get Al Sharpton on the fastest jet, right? Make sure he's there in a flash. None of this is even real. And if we were to operate the way Norway did, and if somebody with a pair were to say in our government, this is it, we're done. Everybody get back to living your lives, open your places, go back to work, stop making excuses, stop wanting handouts, stop expecting free stuff. We're not going to pay for your college. By the way, groceries are going up, so you better get that job now. And we're not paying your rent anymore. Let's go. Facts. Feelings. Did you hear Nancy Pelosi's little slip up? Slip up or just telling the truth? I find that she and Mitch McConnell tied, well, with probably Chuck Schumer. They are the trifecta of why we need term limits. Each is equally disgusting in their own right. But listen to Nancy Pelosi yesterday.
Keep government open. We have to do those imminently, more imminently even to address the full Obama agenda of building back better and I love to say building back better.
Obama agenda. The full Obama agenda. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I go back and I listen to things I say on this program, and I'm like, ooh, that was a mess up. I think I said 25,000 troops left in Afghanistan rather than 2,500. I don't know. I mean, she knows who's president. Build back better. The Obama agenda of building back better, which is code for destroying America. Facts. It's the only takeaway from this. So let's not worry about migrants. They should get everything they need. You shouldn't. Your freedoms, your liberties, soon your guns taken from you, and your taxes will go through the roof. Or will they? Oh, yes, they will. Just saying these words is very difficult. Bulging, herniated, degenerative discs. There are people walking around, might even be you or someone you love, who's been told that the only answer is a lifetime of epidurals to dull the pain until it's unbearable again, or to get spinal surgery. And if that's the diagnosis that you've gotten, I want you to pick up the phone and consider the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh. Dr. Richard Rafferty has a non-surgical procedure that doesn't just take away the pain, it actually helps the disc heal, and it's not surgical. So why would you not want that? 98% successful. Call 412-906-9600. Ask about intra-disc neutrosis. Go to PittsburghDiscInstitute.com. He's a wonderful man. You're going to absolutely love him. All right, when we come back, a little bit of a snafu for poor Don Lemon. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Oh, you don't want to talk about Don Lemon.
No, there you go.
I know. I'm sorry. You know what? Sometimes it's hard. I forget what his real name is. You're listening to the Wendy Bell radio program right after this.
Don Lemon. If you are having problems with WinCam, the best thing to look up is Jason on Facebook. I don't work for WinCam, so I don't think I'd be able to help you. Unless Jason wants to put me on the payroll, then, maybe. Moonlight.
You have time for that?
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
Literally, I was here till 6 o'clock last night.
Yeah. I feel that cross.
And then I went home and immediately started searching for stuff for today. And you know that's true because I was on the phone with you. Wendy, you're the greatest. Come on, Joe. That's like saying the vaccine was 100% effective. You got to leave yourself some wiggle room there.
You know what? I think Joe is a very astute individual.
I think Joe needs to leave. Just leave some wiggle room there in case something happens, No, Brock can't find more clips.
What does that mean?
Someone asked if I can find a clip of Joe Biden.
Doing what?
Saying once we get to 75%, we'll get back to normal.
But it's 97% now, yo.
Here we go. Make love, not war.
So the running scary COVID totals, how many people have gotten it, how many people have died, the ticker that was running on every single TV station, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, all of them had it. It's going to be replaced now by who the next group of employees to be fired from their businesses are, from which business. This just in, from CNN. you know where I love to get most of my information. A North Carolina hospital system fired 175 employees who failed to follow its COVID-19 vaccination rule. I want you to think about the wording of that sentence. Workers, frontline heroes, failed to follow. Ladies and gentlemen, for those at CNN who have forgotten, we don't live in China. This is not Australia. Have you seen what's going on there? Holy Moses. This is not Canada. You have choices. I love the syrupy reason. Over 99% of its workers complied. What good people. I sure hope they have signs in front of their yards that say, all are welcome here. Novant Health, a North Carolina non-for-profit of 15 medical centers. That's a misnomer. That's like UPMC. We don't make any money. No profit. We barely break even. Hardly. Novant Health, a North Carolina not-for-profit system of 15 medical centers with more than 2,300 physicians, said this week it has terminated roughly 175 employees for non-compliance with its mandatory COVID-19 vaccination program. Quote, I'm thrilled that the vast majority of team members, this is now Walmart, this is Disney. You're now a cast member. Yay, COVID vaccination, the musical. Our cast members, 99% of the good ones, they followed along. I'm thrilled that the vast majority of team members gave Novant Health patients and visitors, as well as our team members, better protection against COVID-19 by complying with our vaccination mandate. Do you guys remember in school, Brock, you'll remember this, when you had to like chart sentences, you had to diagram sentences, you had to circle the adverb, underline the linking verb. Which one's the pronoun? Well, I could diagram that individual sentence and find 4 or 5 reasons to be offended if I was such a person, which I am. Mandate, comply, and a bold-faced lie that because these 99% of workers have been good little clone troopers and acquiesced to their demands, that somehow everybody's going to stay safe. Let us review. Getting the jab doesn't keep you from getting COVID. Getting the jab doesn't keep you from spreading COVID. Wearing a mask doesn't stop you from getting COVID. Standing behind plexiglass just makes you look stupid. Standing in a circle makes you look even dumber. And if you do all of those things, you are watching CNN. So we're going to demonize those who, for whatever reason, and isn't their reason, whether it's, I don't take drugs. I'm a purist. I'm not into that. I don't get the flu shot either. Or I had COVID. It was fine or not, but I survived. I'm feeling pretty good. I've had my antibodies tested. I'm protected. My religion, how I feel about my religion, contradicts your mandate. Or something as simple as, I don't feel comfortable taking an experimental drug and being part of a phase 3 clinical trial. Or I want to have children. And while this drug may end up being fine, even though VAERS submits to us it's not, for a lot of people, I don't know. And the thought of finding somebody and falling in love with them and wanting to start a family and not being able to is a risk I'm not willing to take. And therefore, I will be demonized in your 1%. I will stand up for my right to choose, for my ability to say, my body, my choice. See, you don't get to use those slogans on a pick and choose basis. It either works and we should trust it and respect it, or it doesn't. If a woman can say, I don't want to be pregnant, my body, my choice, I'm getting an abortion, you ought to be able to say, my body, my choice, I want to have a baby, and I'm worried I won't be able to. You have all the tools in your arsenal to do what's right for you. Those of you who have emailed me saying, I'm in this situation, I need advice. You don't need the advice. You just need to remember what it feels like to stand up and to fight for what you believe in, for what makes you happy, for your consciousness, for your peace of mind. No government, no stupid job can take that away from you, ever. All right, when we come back, Don Lemming. Kind of tough times for that guy. I'm going to tell you why. We got some good sound, too. You're listening to the Wendy Bell radio program. I have a tickle. You ever have like an ear tickle that you want to like go like that through and you want to like just, Thank God my ears aren't like Murphy's.
Play video of Australia to educate people. Listen, if you haven't heard about Australia yet, you need to find different sources because it's out there. And Wendy Bell shouldn't be your only source.
Well, and the problem too is the video. Remember, our number one priority is radio.
Yes.
We get to share this with you on the live stream because we think that it's important and we think it's different and we think it adds a layer of communication that's deeply personal. It's me talking to each of you. But if you consider some of the things that Brock has told me, because I was like, oh, did you see this video of such and such? And he's like, I didn't get that. And I was like, why? And he said, because it's not radio. You can't tell what's going on when it's very visually focused. So we can only do so much. I will say that much. You know what? This is a great time. I'm sorry, what?
Did you just ignore me or you didn't hear that?
I didn't hear you.
You're like, we can't do that. It's like, we. Go ahead.
I want to tell you guys about.
She wants to tell you about Ireland contracting.
Do you want me to tell them about Ireland contracting?
Or the battlegrounds. I love them both.
I will tell you about Ireland contracting. I love them. I didn't realize what being an Owens Corning Platinum Preferred roofer meant until Diane Ireland told me. She says, Wendy, only the top 1% of roofers in America are given that moniker from Owens Corning, which is a huge deal. And to say that you're A+ rated by not only Angie's List and Guild Quality, but also, or Angie's List and the BBB, but also Guild Quality, which is big in building circles. Like builders know Guild Quality is a big deal. That's huge. And not to mention, they're good people. So if you have a home exterior project, roofing, siding, windows, soffit, fascia, skylights, you want to put in one of those, that'll change your room. Call Diane Ireland at 1-800-NEW-ROOF. Gary will come out. He'll check out your project. He'll give you a fair quote, and the job will be done right. Go to IrelandContracting.com.
Now, our sources, what Wendy and I use a lot is Daily Wire. I am a big fan of the Daily Wire. I think they do good reporting. Most of mine are conservatives. I like the Daily Caller because they put a lot of Laura Logan on there, and I can appreciate Laura Logan. I don't do the mainstream. I don't do the Fox News. I don't do the CNN. I watch for the show, but it's not like I look for information there.
No, I agree.
Why not go to Rumble? It's a lot of extra work. That, no offense, we built an app. There's no need for us to go to Rumble. That's why we don't go to Rumble. I'd rather have an app where we're in one place, that you don't have to look through Facebook or Rumble or Getter or wherever, like we're going to be one place as soon as they all kick us off. I like Breitbart. I think they do a lot of research.
I don't agree with everything they say.
What's that?
I don't agree with
I
everything
don't believe
anybody
everything
says.
anyone says. But they have to, because they have people coming after them. I like the Western Journal. I like Town Hall.
I like them a lot.
Town Hall is a lot of more.
It's a lot of columnists.
It's a lot of columnists, which for talk radio, columnists are great because you can read a headline and that gives you necessarily a topic. I don't really care what they say, but they might bring up a topic. You'd be like, you know what? That's a good call segment, or that's a good idea. So I like Town Hall for that. I don't like CNN, although I look at it. I used to love the Drudge Report because it was easy.
They got biased.
I mean, big time. It's like if I notice it, it's pretty bad. But I even look at like One American News.
Newsmax.
They are what they are. And I think when you go into reading anything or watching anything, and this is my personal opinion, you have to go in and truly tell yourself, I'm not just looking for confirmation bias. I'm actually just trying to find the facts. Sometimes you got to dig through, even on a Daily Wire, sometimes you have to dig through the facts. But I like Ben Shapiro. I think he gives a lot of facts. I like Matt Walsh. I think they deal in facts.
Who do you like most of all?
I don't know who my favorite is. Well,
just so you know.
Look at her trying to reel in the compliment. Going fishing. Epoch Times, Epic Times. Okay. I do read. One of the nice things about reading CNN and watching MSNBC sometimes is somewhere in the middle is the truth.
Apparently Kamala Harris isn't too happy with The View.
With the what?
The View.
Because they made her. All right, here we go.
I often say one of the smartest things you can ever do as a consumer of information is to stop consuming the news, to turn off the television. Every now and again, it's fun to let your fingers do the walking, to do a little perusing of the headlines, because it is all the same jazz. Scare, 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 anger, hate people who don't do what we do, hate anybody who's different, right? And then you come across stories that just, I wonder how many people are employed who actually do nothing. They don't, literally. How many people have you ever talked to? You're like, so what do you do for a living? And they have a hard time telling you what they do. You're like, wow, you do nothing. This is CNN. Apparently, the office of Vice President Kamala Harris is vexed with The View after the false COVID-19 positive tests revealed just before Harris was to appear on the show last week sent the program into chaos. People familiar with the matter told CNN on Tuesday. Wait a minute. It's supposed to be about safety. She's vexed. She was inconvenienced.
Let me ask you this question. Do you think that was a stunt?
It could have been. It could have been. It could be. It could have been. And if you look at the cutaways of their floor director, who was like, I'm so sorry, it was so chaotic. There were literally 6 people in the audience. They're completely spaced apart. Everybody's wearing masks. Apparently, the staff, the hosts, get tested 2 or 3 times a week. You're not sitting near each other. I doubt you guys are all embracing and kissing each other on the mouths. What are we doing except an exercise in spending money on PCR tests? Brock brings up an interesting question. Is the vice president so poorly perceived? Has she been so out of touch with everything that's gone on? Has her cackling, her multi-pantsuit wearing pearl necklace, whatever, is it so much of a turnoff that maybe The View was giving her a solid and saying, we don't want her to have to answer too many questions? Is that where you're going? Because they were going to ask her about the border. They'd said in advance they were going to ask the vice president about the complete madness under the Del Rio Bridge. You think it was something a little bit more devious?
I think it was one way to say it's a 2-day event, because the first day is, oh my gosh, they've got COVID.
What happened? I must tune in on Monday to find out.
I have to see what happened.
Said no one ever watching The View.
Right. But then the whole thing of she felt like she was going to die. Right. Her husband was inconvenienced.
Right.
It just seemed a lot.
All these stories do is illuminate and underscore the rampant selfishness of people. Kamala Harris's office is vexed because somebody using protocol that I'm sure is insisted by the vice president's office, that 2 people test positive and then test negative 3 times after that.
Was it sweeps? I know you know TV. I don't.
No.
Oh.
No.
They usually save that kind of stuff for sweeps.
Yeah.
Monday on.
Yeah. Everybody will die. We'll tell you about it tonight at 11. Right? No, that's February, May, July, and November. So no, this is just, I don't know. But apparently, Kamala Harris, her office is vexed. Well, I know that you've been so busy, Kamala, flying around the world, getting to the root causes of problems, right? You are really knocking it out of the park, sister. Thank goodness for you. So I want to talk about Don Lemon. There is a delicious factor when somebody's chickens come home to roost, when they've crowed about something or lamented or, waxed poetic or have cried on television telling you about their own individual struggles. And then either it ends up being farcical or contrived, manufactured. Like, we don't have authenticity anymore. Everybody's got to have the best Facebook post, I got to get my followers. Nobody takes ugly pictures of themselves. This is me. And so we've become this terribly narcissistic community. There's no more narcissistic community with greater egos and more insecurity than people on TV news. Just saying, okay? Got a little bit of experience there, like 24 years. All right, so it was a few years ago when Don Lemon came out. We know he's Black, we know he's gay, but we didn't know this about Don Lemon. This came out in late summer, early fall 2018, right around Brett Kavanaugh's hearings, Supreme Court confirmation hearings, where, of course, we know a highly esteemed jurist with no corroborating evidence or any kind of proof whatsoever, save for a woman who we were all told we must believe all victims, right? On the heels of Brett Kavanaugh being accused of sexual malfeasance, Don Lemon, oh no, he's not going to let Brett get all the limelight. This is time for him to come out with a very painful admission. Go ahead.
Well, I've been open about my experience with sexual assault. And I know firsthand that no one ever wants to come forward, even to family, friends, or loved ones, let alone the entire country. My own family didn't know what happened to me. I didn't tell my mother till I was 30 years old. And it was something that happened when I was very young. One of my abusers, while a lot older than me, was also young, in his teens. So it has been really frustrating to me to hear people ignorantly excusing a 17-year-old possibly committing sexual assault as boys will be boys, teenage hormones, testosterone at work here. Well, let me tell you, in my life, it hasn't mattered if the person was 17 or 70. The pain and the damage are real, and it never goes away.
So that's a pretty big thing for him to come out on live television and talk about. I don't think if I was a survivor of sexual abuse or violence that I would be able to do that. So that is what Don Lemon said about a past experience of his when he was young. I don't care if the abuser is 17 or 70. It's real and the pain lasts. Second CNN sex scandal. Don Lemon likely headed to court over sexually charged assault accusation. You know, these sorts of stories are tricky. One, because usually they make you feel uncomfortable. I think it's the wrong place to try to put a flag in the sand. There is sexual violence, and it is reprehensible. But I find it interesting that in Me Too, Don Lemon claims to not have only been a victim, now he is being accused as a perpetrator of sexual misconduct that is corroborated by someone inside the very bar, reportedly, where it happened. Now, my question to you is this. Will Don Lemon be as forthright about this and come out on camera and talk about it? Because don't forget, Chris Cuomo, his partner and, brother, you can say, they call each other brothers as they're in the double box, yucking it up, or excoriating all of us who disagree with them, has also been accused of sexual malfeasance. Second CNN sex scandal, Don Lemon likely headed to court over sexually charged assault accusation. A lawsuit brought by bartender Dustin Heiss, alleging CNN anchor Don Lemon inappropriately touched him in a sexually charged assault more than 3 years ago, is expected to make it to a courtroom early next year. This is Fox News reporting this, I'm sure gleefully in some way, which is in and of itself gross. In the latest such headache for the network, as last week, veteran television news producer Shelley Ross accused CNN host Chris Cuomo of sexually harassing her in 2005 when both worked for ABC News. The host of Cuomo Primetime apologized at the time, according to Shelley, and reiterated his apology to the New York Times last week. I guess it gets brushed under the rug at that point. Nothing to see here. The assault and battery suit against Lemon, 55, who's openly gay, hasn't made it before a judge due to lengthy discovery process in the coronavirus pandemic. But Heiss's legal team told Fox News Digital it expects this suit to end up in court around 2022. Heiss, 40, claims Lemon, anchor of CNN Tonight, did something really despicable with his genitalia and then pushed his fingers into the face of Heiss, rubbing his fingers on his mustache. Happened apparently at a Sag Harbor, New York bar in July of 2018. Right before Brett Kavanaugh, right before Don Lemon came out and said he'd been sexually abused as a kid. At such time, Mr. Lemon, who was wearing a pair of short sandals and a t-shirt and all the things that he sport, I can't even tell you, because it is not fit for you to hear, because it is not what normal people do. Apparently, though, the 40-year-old accuser has a friend who said, I saw the whole dang thing. I was standing right here and has been able to corroborate. Why am I telling you this? I am so tired of those who are morally on high, sitting in their sanctimonious thrones, waving their magic wands to tell us how we ought to live. That they are the barometers of character and morality. Do I know if this happened? No. Do I know if Don Lemon was sexually assaulted? No. I don't know. What'd you say, Brooke?
We know he tried to pay him off.
We sure did, and that's the part of the story I'm going to get into next. No. It's a good segue. You know, when I think about business, I think about websites. You have to have a website if you have a business, and if they run poorly or they crash or systems go haywire and you call your IT guy and he goes, I don't know, I'm working on it. That costs you money, lost revenue, right? You need an information technology team, a managed service provider that's smart as heck, responsive, and super forward thinking. And that team is Sierra Experts. Started by a veteran right here in Pittsburgh, Sierra Experts can secure your network, set it up, manage it, so much more. They know what they're doing. And they're also experts in digital forensic recovery, things like that. So if you think your computer's been wiped clean, give it to Sierra Experts. Call this number. Find out more, 412-379-8333, or go to sierraexperts.com. Okay, so I'm going to ask you this leading into the break. When you offer to pay somebody off who's accusing you of doing something wrong, does that make you look guilty? Does that make you guilty? And what about Me Too? I warned about this years ago. An opportunity for people to jump on bandwagons, do all sorts of bad stuff. Don't miss this next conversation. You're listening to Wendy Bell Radio.
Let's be honest, this isn't the second time. Don't forget about the guy who sexually assaulted himself, Jeffrey Toobin.
Was it Jeremy or is it Jeffrey? Facts. But that's okay. Because you work for CNN, so you can be caught on a Zoom call masturbating. Honest to God. Think about how like emotionally bereft you have to be to think that that's a good idea. Honest to goodness.
Yeah, right?
Around a live camera, talking to my colleagues. I'm sorry, no offense, but talking to my colleagues isn't a turn on. I'm not thinking, wow, now's the time.
Yeah, right.
I mean, like, ew.
Wow.
Ew.
I don't know if I should take that personally.
You should. Yes, absolutely. Woof.
Wow. No, yeah. I mean, obviously, it's a culture there, and in the media industry, it's a culture everywhere with men in positions of power doing this. This isn't just CNN. This isn't just New York. This happens all over the place.
No doubt.
It happens in Pittsburgh. It happens in Philly. It happens. This isn't just CNN.
I agree.
Diane says, poor Brock. Yeah, well, you know.
Really, Diane? Really? Is that where we're going?
Don't worry about my feeling.
I don't.
It's all fun and games till the fat kid's feeling get hurt.
I have a John D'Onofrio here.
You want to do it on it?
Sure. That's a great plan. Thank you. I appreciate that.
No one cares about Brock's feeling.
Because you only have one.
It's all fun and games till the fat kid's feeling get hurt. Then it's just fun.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Do you want to talk about your use of the word one? Maybe we can knock that out of you. Maybe Simkovich Concussion Institute can do something with your soft palate.
Be quiet.
Hey, have you guys set up a trust, an estate plan for the future? Do you know how to do that? The roadmap, the legal ins and outs, the maze, the taxes? Are you kidding me? You need an expert on your side, and the expert I trust is estate lawyer John D'Onofrio. He's got 40 years of experience doing this, and he is a good man. He's a friend of mine. He's my lawyer. Easy to get in touch with him, 412-928-2068, 412-928-2068, Attorney John D'Onofrio. All right, so back to Don Lemon. Look, these are really uncomfortable things, and they're thrust into the public spotlight because they're salacious, they're sexy, they're gross. They show this weird underbelly of people. I think everybody is weird and gross. Everybody's got strange quirks and likes and strange things that we don't want to know about each other's weirdness. We're all weird. But do me a favor, don't get on your soapbox and preach to us about what happened to you and then be accused of doing something that was disgusting to a man and then be accused of trying to bribe him or pay him off. Look, don't say anything. I'm going to give you a 6-figure settlement. Don't. And the guy who says that Don Lemon did this to him in a bar, and I'm sorry I'm not going to give you specifics, but God forbid some of you have children in the car. I also won't talk about Santa Claus. You know, it's gross. The guy obviously wasn't willing to settle. Now, one can understand that some people would think payday, 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 but what if there is somebody out there who's got a moral fiber who's like, this is wrong. You're not allowed to go out on your TV soapbox every day. You know what, Brock? How about the clip with Lemon and Cuomo? This is the underscoring of it, okay? This is how absolutely maniacally deranged Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo are. This is what they believe. This is what they preach every night on their respective shows. This is why I tell you, don't watch anymore.
But there are a lot of things that are felonious that you're letting get by just because it works for your business model.
Yeah.
And the time has come for them. We have to flip it and show us that you can't do what you're being asked to do.
The most egregious of it all, though, is what you said. It's the people who have the biggest platform on social media.
They're all righties.
They're all righties. All of them are righties. And listen, even in, if you want to call it legacy media, even some of the conservative media, they do the same thing. They have they have no real protocol. They have no real structure in what they say what they want. They put headlines and things and write about things.
They say it's opinion.
Yeah,
this is all opinion.
But that most people, we would never even put it on, give it the light of day because
that's because
one,
we have news accountability. That's the Fox farce. The whole nighttime lineup is entertainment.
All right, but Fox and social media, they said then they shouldn't put news behind it. And social media should do the same thing. They should not just be able to put things out there and
because they know.
Consequence.
We have news accountability. I'm dancing right here. I'm jumping up and down going, oh my goodness. Wow, the delusion is there's no protocol. They don't do anything. They're righties. What? I can tell you what the protocol is. The protocol is getting up super early, double checking, triple checking, digging, finding certain information that won't be talked about, digging into sources. There's no protocol. There's no accountability. So what I'm going to do, we're going to have a little exercise in the break. Behind me on my beautiful, pristine BS board is a list of lies that Brock and I at the beginning of the program, just first blush, spitballing, throwing ideas out at you. He's like, weapons of mass destruction. I'm like, great, critical race theory. And he says this. And I said, I'm going to circle all of the various things, the lies that Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo specifically have perpetuated on their program. I want to play that back for you, okay? Because it is the ultimate in preposterous. We're going to tell you, do you hear how they talk to you? Do you hear how they think about you? They hate you. They hate you. But make sure you tune in tonight at 11 because the world's going to blow up. It's over with. AOC. Climate change is going to kill we're done 10 years. This is the demise of journalism. We're watching it 100% right here now. It pains me. That was my original industry. And then things went sideways. So don't go anywhere. I want to talk to you about that. I'm going to circle the board. We're going to talk a little bit more about farcical. I mean, it's CNN if you look it up in the dictionary. You're listening to the Wendy Bell radio program. Back right after this. Charge.
Wait, why aren't you? They run the other side.
I got you the first time there, hombre. Relax. So you're going to say,
Well, they've run this soundbite. They played it, right?
is it all of it? It's going to be all of it.
Well, I don't know if this, because that was ABC, but I'm sure they've run the. Definitely that one. Definitely that one. Get this one too. Yeah.
Go ahead. What? You're just circling the whole darn thing.
Except that you're young. They did not report on that.
That's not fake.
Okay.
Well, I was trying, and then Brock just decided, yeah. You did cut to the chase.
People are saying it's the whole board. It is. I love they're all righties.
Yes.
Well, that's because that's the only outlet. There is no, other than Fox and these other Newsmax, these are new Newsmax is what, 2 years old, 3 years old? You know, like they're forcing us, and I'm putting us in that category, to start things. Yeah, you want to?
Go ahead, finish your thought.
They're just forcing people who are conservative to start their own things. They're creating two worlds.
Yeah, I agree.
Democrats, so you know.
I want to thank our friends Matt and Lauren Krupp from the Battlegrounds in Munhall, Pennsylvania for what they do for this program, allowing us with their sponsorship to continue doing this. If you're tired of the same old boring birthday parties or company outings, if you're looking to break free from the norm and try something new, the Battlegrounds is the place for you. This place is amazing. They have a whole variety of activities inside, including Nerf, airsoft, bow tag, rivals, slingshots, and more. No matter what activity you choose, you're going to get so much. 2.5 hours in a party, fully staffed. Everything's provided for you. It is out of this world. And Matt is bringing in a whole new segment into the Battlegrounds, remote controlled stuff. So you've got kits, cars, boats, trucks, you name it. The RC section is going to be outstanding. Look, put aside your differences, grab the people you love, people you want to shoot even, and come to the Battlegrounds and have a total ball, okay? It's so easy to get information on them and to tour all of their fields of play. Matt does great videos. It's so neat, you guys. You're going to love it. 412-530-2192. 412-530-2192. And remember also, thebattlegroundspa.com. And don't just play the game, be the game at the Battlegrounds. So great. I love them. So I should only have more games. My friend Kelly Morgan left.
That's 48.
Yes, thank you. I will do that then. I love how you're eating.
Would you like one?
No.
I didn't wolf down 2 sausage biscuits this morning.
I did. But the Jimmy Dean package makes it look like they're bigger and they're little like munchy crunchies like that. I don't want any.
It didn't last very long.
I asked you if you wanted one and you're like, no.
I didn't hear you.
Oh, for the love of all that is holy. Look at you. One of these days you should probably tell the truth.
I'm going to burst.
Lies, 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 yeah. Mm-hmm. I'll sing if you want.
Please.
Totally.
Don't.
Yes.
Please.
Yes.
It's like you're dancing.
My dancing is awesome.
It's horrible.
You know what?
I saw a shirt. I almost ordered it for you. It had a beer on it. It says, "This says I can dance."
I can dance. I'm fantastic. Here's the funny thing, Ed. You don't care. I just sounded like Leanna Len. I said, here's the funny thing. She is the most annoying voice.
I can think of one. Worse.
What?
Joy Behar.
We have a couple more clips of sound I want to try to get through before we're done. Brock says I can't dance. I can so dance. I'm the best dancer ever. All you need is the chorus. Here we go. Come on. Dance with me. Oh, yeah. You know what? Don't let people tell you that you can't dance, because you can dance. Right? It's like the girl who shouldn't be wearing the bikini who's wearing the bikini. You're like, right on, sister. You rock it. You go for it. All right, so let's get back to the subject at hand here. So Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo allege that they are the wizards of integrity and honesty, and people on the right, the righties, as they say, conservative common sense broadcasters such as myself, and I know they've seen me. I know they have. They can run and hide, but right, they know who we are. So I decided, well, wait a minute. We're really not the problem. We just expose all the problems that are spewed by the left. So I said in the break leading up to it, well, let's go to the BS board, the lies, and illuminate all of the things that I can confirm with my hand on the Bible that they have spread and talked about on CNN, that Chris Cuomo and Don Lemon have said. All of it. I think the only thing I have not heard them talk about, the military never told Biden to leave troops in Afghanistan. I've not heard them say that. Every single other thing on this board, I've heard them say. Brock just circled the whole board. that Trump lost, that the unvaccinated are the biggest threat, that Fauci should be trusted, that the COVID data is reliable, that you should get vaxxed, it's patriotic, that it's not about freedom, that there was Russian collusion, that the Steele dossier actually meant something, that the mostly peaceful protests. In fact, you even have that sound, don't you, of the lies from CNN, all of the lies from the summer of love. How many times do we have to show you guys? Do we have to underscore the garbage that they put out?
Now, too many see the protests as the problem. No, the problem is what forced your fellow citizens to take to the streets: persistent and poisonous inequities and injustice. And please, show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Wow. Thanks, Chris. Where are protesters supposed to be polite? Systemic injustice, racial inequities, specifically referring to police running and gunning for and hunting down specifically peaceful, unarmed Black men. That's not true. And we told you that yesterday. Out of the 60 police murders or killings of unarmed suspects in 2020, 16 of them were Black suspects, 26 were white. So let's just not let the facts get in the way with our feelings, because that gives Chris Cuomo the soapbox to preach to you. You know, there are a few audio sound bites, a couple clips I want to get to you. I think one of the things that hit the news most recently that I found very disturbing was the allegation, or at least the idea, that the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff on January 6th, during the insurrection, the biggest assault on our democracy ever, that he met with the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, and basically made a phone call to China saying, hey, Trump's not going to bomb you. We're not going to attack. Like that was even an idea, that there was even a thought process, that somebody believed that Donald Trump was going to start in the end of his presidency a literal war between us and China. As preposterous as that sounds. Well, yesterday, as General Milley was addressing the Senate investigation of what happened in Afghanistan, I have two sound bites for you. The first one is cut number 11, and he's obviously ticked off that anybody has impugned his highly decorated integrity. Go.
And I buried a lot of my troops who died while defending this country. My loyalty to this nation, its people, and the Constitution hasn't changed and will never change as long as I have a breath to give. My loyalty is absolute, and I will not turn my back on the fallen. With respect to the Chinese calls, I routinely communicated with my counterpart, General Lee, with the knowledge and coordination of civilian oversight. I am specifically directed to communicate with the Chinese by Department of Defense guidance, the policy dialogue system. These military-to-military communications at the highest level are critical to the security of the United States in order to deconflict military actions, manage crisis, and prevent war between great powers that are armed with the world's most deadliest weapons.
You know what? It is. He looks like Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men. You can't handle, isn't that it? You can't handle the truth.
It's real ignorant.
How dare you? How dare you question me? Look, if we can't all admit that we can learn something, you know, if you're not always evolving and growing and getting better, if you believe you're at the pinnacle, you're at the top, you're at the A game, you're at the apex, nobody can touch you. It's time to move along. He says, my loyalty to this country and to its people, except all of those still left in Afghanistan. I will not turn my back on the fallen. He already did, you guys. And I said this during the 9/11 commemorations, the 20th anniversary of 9/11, where I remarked that it was truly out of touch for former presidents and for President Biden and Jill to be sitting at the front of a service and to have the loved ones who buried almost 3,000 people in the aftermath of that terror attack to sit behind them. That anybody who was connected, who actually felt, I mean, will you ever forget that moment in your life where you were? What the sky looked like, how you felt, what you thought as you watched the event unfold. For any of our leaders, quote unquote, who serve we the people, they are our servants. These aren't dictators. To be that out of touch, to not say, you know what? You all scooch forward. We'll stand in the back and pay tribute to your sacrifice and loss. The out of touch nature of people in our country in positions of power is alarming. It is an epidemic. It is the status quo. As though some segment of their morality and humanity and heart evaporates with every successive climb up the ladder of politics. If General Milley truly believed the words that he was saying, that he loved his country, that he would never turn his back on the fallen, he would not have offered information about President Trump while Trump was in office to Bob Woodward and others for their salacious books, trying to paint him as some just bonkers, wacko, unhinged man. If General Milley truly was those things that he said in that Senate testimony, he would stand up and say, I can't do this anymore. We are being led by someone who is merely an empty face. He is here as a placeholder because he's the only person malleable enough, desperate enough to allow us to run our ops through his name. And in return, I'm guaranteeing you, Joe Biden and the Biden family crime syndicate receives a pass on years, decades of wrongdoing and malfeasance. There is no other explanation as to why nobody will touch Hunter Biden with a 10-foot pole, even though we know, and it has been corroborated, that the information on his laptop shows Joe Biden, as then vice president, went on the multiple trips with Hunter Biden and lied about never talking to his son about his overseas business dealings. That is the plan. You are as corrupt as the day is long, and we have let you be because your chickens are going to come home to roost. You're going to be weekend at Bernie's, the dead guy. We're going to wheel you around. We're going to execute our plan, as Nancy Pelosi just said in a previous soundbite, the Obama Build Back Better agenda. You just nod your head. We'll infuse you with whatever you need to look moderately involved. And we will allow you to get away with your decades of lies and cheating and stealing. Doesn't that sound crazy? Doesn't that sound logical? That's what I think. But before this break, I want you to hear this. Cut number 12. Even more despicable than a Mark Milley, a 7,000-star general who doesn't have the integrity to stand up and say, you know what, I'm not down with this because it's not good for America. This is what he said about deranged Nancy Pelosi.
Later that same day, on 8 January, Speaker of the House Pelosi called me to inquire about the president's ability to launch nuclear weapons. I sought to assure her that nuclear launch is governed by a very specific and deliberate process. She was concerned and made various personal references characterizing the president. I explained to her that the president is the sole nuclear launch authority and he doesn't launch them alone, and that I am not qualified to determine the mental health of the President of the United States.
They hate more than they love America. Hate more than love America. I'd like to tell you about my friend Kelly Morgan and the 4 fitness facilities that she owns in Somerset and Cambria counties here in Pennsylvania. She's dynamite. She's a veteran herself, and she and her family run Morgain's Fitness. It's all of the things that you'd expect inside a gym, all of the safety precautions, the cleaning, everything is spick and span. They've got the machines, the free weights, the Nautilus plate-loaded stuff, certified personal trainers, body, metabolism testing, all of this stuff. But she's a patriot. You're going to like what she does. They're open 24/7, and they are good people. If it's time for you to get your body back, do it with people who love this country the way you do. Go to Morgain's Fitness, MORGAINZ Fitness.com. When all hope feels lost, there is an unlikely hero who emerges from the Twitter cesspool. And it is a young man, 23 years old, a basketball player for the Orlando Magic, who is the hero of the day for speaking the truth. We'll share that with you next on the Wendy Bell radio program.
According to statistics, Americans are to the person that asked me what that music is that she talks about, it's just bumper music that we subscribe to a service. So it's not really anything that you can go
and get per se. Yeah.
I can't golf today. So, golfing Friday. Remember, no show Friday. Please don't email me asking me where's Wendy. What game are you going to see?
BC.
Who?
BC.
Oh, Joe's going to be torn.
Well, that's when Jack was still at BC. So Michael was at Clemson. So we figured it would be a great time to go see a game with both of them. And then Jack transferred, which makes sense.
So you have an extra ticket.
Actually, we need an extra ticket because Michael's taking his girlfriend, who I sometimes like more than Michael. Is that wrong? It's interesting to see the young ladies who your boys bring home or like. Ryan always said he was blondes, loves blondes, blondes. Showed me a picture yesterday of a young lady that he met at one of the Central football games. And she's darling. She's one of those fresh-faced brunettes who doesn't have makeup on, just looks happy, nice teeth. She's pleasant, bright looking. He's like, Mom, she's awesome. I was like, told you, you'll always go to the brownies.
No.
Always go
Well,
to the
nowadays,
brownies.
how do you even know?
Well, mine is the Grays.
Yeah, right. No, there will be no bad joke Thursday.
No, but you can do, ask us anything. Yeah?
Yeah. You can do Ask Us Anything. Ask Wendy anything.
Should we promote that?
Until we start getting questions, wbrbrock@gmail.com. And don't make it political. Make it almost stupid. Like,
No, like something that's just off
the wall, you
Yeah.
know?
Oh, my goodness.
All right, here we go.
Hey, don't forget, as we're doing a little housekeeping here, do not forget tomorrow is Ask Us Anything. Email Brock, WBRBrock, Wendy Bell Radio Brock, WBRBrock @gmail.com, and we will talk to you about anything
That's not email. What? That's not ask either of us. That's ask you.
Oh, okay. And that is, wow. And this is sort of like, you know how Rush Limbaugh used to do Open Line Friday? I like that too. You can call in, you can email a question, anything you want to talk about. You know what? I really miss Rush Limbaugh. I have to just say that. I really, really miss Rush Limbaugh. I would never in a million years presume I would ever take any kind of place of that man. A giant. You know what I loved about him? And this is totally rando, but it's worthwhile. He was always kind to whomever called. He never seemed angry. He didn't belittle anyone. And you could almost feel it oozing out of his body how much he loved America. He never got down, I don't think, when Trump lost. He didn't get down. It wasn't the end of the world. You felt like the next day there was always something to tune into, to hope for, to hold on for. At the very least, he would say something in such a way that would remind you that it was okay, that life goes on for everybody with all sorts of stuff, and that everybody has, things they're dealing with. I miss him. When I hear people call into this show and say, longtime listener, first time caller, I get chills, because that's what they would say to him. And they would call themselves ditto heads. And he was so special. And probably because of him, I feel like I can do what I do, because he made AM radio relevant again, talk radio relevant. He's a very special soul. Anyway, I just got off topic thinking about him. God, I miss him. So I stumbled upon this. Actually, Brock did, and he sent it to me. And if you want to hear clear, concise, common sense, reasonable, rational, I want you to listen to this NBA player. His name is Jonathan. Is it Jonathan Isaac? Brock, do you have your thing? Let me see what it says.
I don't have it.
Jonathan Isaac, yes. He's with the Orlando Magic. He's 23 years old, born and raised in the Bronx. Talking about why he is reluctant at this point in his life to get the vaccine. Okay, remember, the NBA is requiring it of coaches, refs, blah, 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 but not the players. Listen to this young man speak.
What is it about the vaccine that makes you hesitant to get it?
I would start with I've had COVID in the past, and so our understanding of antibodies, of natural immunity, has changed a great deal from the onset of the pandemic, and is still evolving. I would say honestly, the craziness of it all, in terms of not being able to say that it should be everybody's fair choice without being demeaned or talked crazy to, doesn't make one comfortable to do what said person is telling them to do.
I love that. It encapsulates everything that every rational person feels. Because you want to demonize me for my individual thought process makes me distrust you and this even more. And because I've already had COVID, I have robust antibodies. I'm young. I've done my research. He's done exactly what Brian Stelter on CNN said don't do. Don't do your own research. Let us do it for you. That way we can make you a clone trooper as well. Ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot more Jonathan Isaacs out there. They come in unusual places. You don't expect an athlete to say that sort of stuff. Softly, respectfully, pointedly educated and firm. And by the way, it's not that reporter's right to know anything. And yet, Jonathan Isaac, that viral video now, millions of views, because an awful lot of us just feel the same way. We're just so freaking tired of it all. Tomorrow, join us. It's our Thursday show. And on Thursday, we do Ask Me Anything. If you think of a question, you want to have it read on the air, you don't want to call in, that's fine. WBRBrock@gmail.com or call us tomorrow, 833-WBR-SHOW. Whatever you want to talk about or to know is fair game. All right? You're listening to the Wendy Bell Radio program. Until tomorrow, thank you for so doing, and peace.